So, welcome to the Mike Armstrong Podcast Show. This morning, I'm joined with Claire Rees from Introbiz Sweden, and we're going to have a little chat about Introbiz Sweden and what they got coming up today. So, how are you doing this morning, Claire? You okay?
Good morning, Mike. Yes, I'm doing really well. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm excited and I can't wait to be speaking with you.
Good. It's the format I tend to have for my podcast, and I've started to record them on YouTube as well now. It's just a general chat, just like a networking event, really, just a one-to-one chat, just to sort of find out a bit more about your business, a bit more about yourself and what it is that you got going on at the moment. So tell us a little bit about Introbiz Sweden, how you got involved and what you got coming up, really.
Okay, well, it actually happened about a year ago. Let me go back another step. A year and a half ago, last January, where I was, as you do, sometimes when you're feeling a bit, you don't know where you're going in life, in business. And I was just scrolling through Facebook, and Tracy had posted something. And I thought, oh, I know what I need. I need somebody in business that I can speak with, somebody I trust. Yeah. So I messaged Tracy, and she actually said, when you in Wales next, because I emigrated to Sweden, Welsh girl, emigrated to Sweden 9 years ago. So she asked me when I was in Wales next, and I said, oh, I'm actually coming next week. It was really strange. And so we arranged for a typical girl Welsh cup of tea and a couple of biscuits and a chat, and that's what we did. Explained a lot of things to her, because I also run a dog sledding company, which is predominantly just 6 months of the year. Yeah. So we needed another income stream, really. And she put me on to a business advisor in Sweden. He's from in the UK as well. He's moved to Sweden, and his name was Adam Strong. So I went on a couple of his mastermind courses with him. Yeah. And lo and behold, Tracy and Paul were asked to be keynote speakers on one. And I was attending that. And all of a sudden, Tracy was talking, and she mentioned franchise. Yeah. And that light bulb just went switched on, because I've known Tracy since she set up Introbiz. I was one of her, I don't know if I was the very first members, but I'm an old member, from the very beginning. Yeah. And I thought, oh, this could be our next income stream. So we had a lovely day in Stockholm, Tracy, Paul and myself. We had a lovely day. We went for lunch. We went on a boat. Oh, and Brian Chidrick was there as well. Yeah. And I went home and I said to my husband, Richard, and I said, well, they've got this franchise, and he said, let's do it. And if I just go back a little bit as well, is that even though we've got the dog sledding company, it's been I'm a project manager, so I have been behind the scenes and I've supported Richard to get this business up and running. And now we're the biggest dog sledding company in our area, in Jämtland. So now it was decided that it was my turn, because my background is project management, and I love people, and in our business of dog sledding, I'm the people person. And when people come and work for us, I do demand good customer service, and the customer is always right. And, people actually come back to us because of our customer service and because of our relationship building. So even though Introbiz Sweden was relevantly new, the actual surrounding of it was not really that new for me. So it was my turn. So Richard said, yeah, let's get some more information. And it was quite funny, because Paul and Tracy were actually, I think they were on the plane home from Stockholm. I sent the message, we want more information. And she said, oh my gosh, I can't, Tracy, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So yeah. So and that's what it was. And then the next, I think in November last year, I went to the expo and I had them out to the expo. We've done 2 weeks. I spent a month in Wales last November. We've done all the training. And then in January this year, then we launched in Stockholm. Tracy came over, loved the place, loved our area. And we launched Introbiz Sweden January this year. we've also got, you know, where the coronavirus came in, and it's frightening for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. But actually for Introbiz Sweden, it's made my life easier, because Sweden is so huge. It's and my area is the whole of Sweden. I didn't really know how I was going to travel and do all the events.
Yeah.
But now with this online webinars, it's a no-brainer.
Yes.
It's fantastic. That is actually going to excel Introbiz Sweden forward, where I think we would have maybe taken an extra year to be where we are today. Now, you know, we're going to excel even more with the online webinars. I can see it.
Yeah. And although you've got the franchise for Sweden, I suppose until someone else takes other Scandinavian franchises, you know, you can do stuff on a pan Scandinavian front, and even, you know, sneaking into a bit of Europe and stuff, and, you know, with the online now. Yeah, well, with the online now and things happening, you know, much more online, ultimately, it doesn't really matter where people come into right now, does it?
I've been speaking to a couple of people from Finland, from Norway, as well. So at the moment where we are with Introbiz Sweden is that the Swedish people don't really understand what Introbiz Sweden is all about. So it's getting the name out there, and this is where the online stuff is just amazing, because if I had to go to all the areas, I would be spending weeks and weeks and weeks trying to get into all the areas. But now I'm just doing it all online. And then what Tracy and I are going to do next week, we're going to introduce Introbiz Sweden online. So we're going to do a Zoom call together. And anybody who wanted to come online as well with us and do some networking, and they could do that as well. So it's all about letting people know what Introbiz Sweden is all about, what we're going to do, and why it's amazing for everybody's business. Because even since March with my online networking, I have been able to pass people on to other people, and you know, everybody's helping everybody's business grow, and that's what we want.
Yeah. And do you speak Swedish?
Lite grann.
What's that? A little bit. A little bit, yeah.
I can talk about my subjects. So if I was in a group of people if I was with a group of people who, just a group of friends, and the subject changes very quickly, then I can't keep up. But if I can answer the phone and I can take bookings, because I run the hotel in the village as well. So I can take bookings for the hotel, I can take dog sledding bookings, and I can answer inquiries. So basically, I can talk
sentences. Sentences.
No, I can hold a conversation, but it's all about work.
Yeah. So more business language, Swedish business language and stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff you get used to doing every day, like, you know, the repetitive stuff. You know, please,
exactly.
Thank you. You know, yes, we got a room. You know, we're fully booked. Those sort of sentences and stuff, like, you know.
What's really interesting when you're learning a new language, and because I've been quite slow, because Swedish people are very, very good at English. They learn English from the age of 6 in school.
Yeah, so the necessity's not there so much.
Yeah, and they love speaking English. So I start speaking Swedish, and they say, "Oh, do you want to speak English?"
And it's an easy way out, isn't it? You might as well, like, you know.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, you know, with Introbiz Sweden, because I'm from the UK, and even though I don't speak the language very good, then everybody speaks English, so it's not a problem.
Yeah. I was just thinking about, you know, when you record some of these Zooms and adverts, etc., telling people about, you know, the network and the networking events and that sort of thing. It'd be quite good, I suppose, for you to get a Swedish presenter, or somebody who can, you know, a friend or somebody who likes, you know, vocalizing things, and maybe doing them in English and Swedish as well. That would probably go down well.
You're absolutely right. And I, actually, Rich and I was speaking about this the other day. That we're in the long run, we will be looking for somebody Swedish to come on board with us as an ambassador for Introbiz Sweden. And obviously, because it's respectful as well, isn't it? It's respectful. Yes. You're in the Swedish country, then they deserve to have their language. You know, I'm really jumping on the back of the Swedish people. So realistically, yes, I need to have a Swedish person on board with us, and I will. Well, I put it out there. I'm looking for somebody Swedish to come on board with us.
You want to find a young millennium who loves talking and doing social media, etc., and you want to give them a membership, and get them being an integral part of the network, and then get them to do all of the stuff, as part of their membership, in exchange,
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But just for those people who don't know myself, obviously I've been a member of Introbiz, not as long as you from the sounds of it, because you started networking a little bit before me. But I've been a member for coming up to 9 years now. So, I love it. And I've been on a couple of the Swedish events. There was, what was the, Anders and something. They were really good sales, into psychology and sales. And they were, Anders and something.
Are you thinking of Sara Nystrom and Jan Åke?
Yes, yeah.
Well,
that was a really good event. That was a really good event. They were interested people.
Was amazing.
Lots of.
And even from that, they weren't. It's called Heart Smart, their businesses, and just by me contacted them and asked them to come on, then that sort of pushed them forward into accelerating their business. So now they are extremely busy, and we've passed people on. So Sara Nystrom is a member of Introbiz Sweden now. So we're linking them up and we're helping them start. We helped them start their business. So that was amazing.
Yeah. And that's another good strategy, actually, to grow the membership, is actually to invite key people from the Swedish community to speak. And then, if they get that, then they'll understand the concept and understand the network and the wider reach and that sort of thing, and then they'll want to join them, won't they? Because a lot of key people, once they see it, they'll want to get involved, So that's a good strategy as well, So what else you got coming up, this month, later this year, that sort of thing?
Well, what we're looking at the moment is next week. Now we're starting to look at letting people know what Introbiz Sweden's about. So there's going to be some training programs, some online Zoom calls, and Tracy and I next Thursday, we're going to have a Zoom call where we're going to talk about Introbiz Sweden and how it can help people and what it exactly is, because I think that's where we need to get the story out of what Introbiz Sweden is all about and how we're going to, to help everybody in the future. Then we've got Adam Strong. He's a big Introbiz entrepreneur, and he's going to talk about how your business can excel in this crisis. So that's going to be an amazing networking webinar, and that's going to be what we've decided, that every Thursday at 4:00 Swedish time is that we'll do an Introbiz event. So just for everybody, so every Thursday. So you've got Introbiz UK with Paul and Tracy on a Wednesday, Introbiz Sweden on a Thursday, and then Introbiz Swansea West Wales, they're going to be on a Friday. So everybody, and that's the other thing about it as well, is every Introbiz member, whether you're in Wales or wherever you are, you have the opportunity to jump in on every event around the globe now. So that's going to be amazing. So you can network, you can do international business networking as well. So that's amazing. And then we've got Anil Gupta then in July. He's coming on.
He used to be on my podcast, so he's great, Anil.
Yeah, and he's and I met him at the Introbiz webinar. So he's going to be coming on in July. I haven't secured the date yet. I asked him for the 4th and he's available on the 2nd. So the dates, but we put it all on the website anyway, or on the social media. Yeah. Even though I said every Thursday, we got to go with some people's availability as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
And then September the 9th, we're going to be launching Introbiz Sweden in Stockholm. The location to be confirmed, obviously, with the coronavirus as well. It's not we can't really plan that far ahead, but it's going to be on September the 9th. And then December the 3rd, then we've got the Introbiz Expo, and in Swedish it's called Mässa, and that's going to be here in Åre. And yeah, so we've got all the venues to be confirmed yet. I'm just in talks with a couple of people then to confirm the venue where that's going to be. And what's going to happen, which is going to be great for UK people, is that we're going to look at working with James Blackler and bring a plane over, a private plane, and do some networking on that plane over to Sweden. It's going to be amazing for Swedish businesses and tourism, because we'll be bringing a load of the UK people over to Sweden. And also we'll be putting on events because as I said before, we're running a dog sled company. I'm going to put some activity packages on for people as well. So it's going to be a huge picture of amazing activities, selling your business, networking, and creating amazing contacts in Sweden and UK.
Brilliant. And obviously we've touched on a bit of the lockdown situation has made you sort of pivot a bit to being more online, which has actually helped the Introbiz Sweden sort of brand build and the connections build, if you like, during this time. Obviously you mentioned the other business you've got, which is, I know, is called Wild Spirits, the dog sledding business. I know you've had to do a bit of pivoting with that as well. Tell people a little bit about that during the lockdown period.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Wild Spirit, we're really busy through the winter, but the busiest time for us is normally Easter time, and that's when the coronavirus occurred, and that's when all the lockdowns all over the world happened. So a month before we were supposed to close down, we had to close down. And obviously we panicked, as everybody did. You know, there was a panic on. And what we did was a couple of things then that we haven't done and we wanted to do. They've been plans to do, but we haven't done in the past. We've done sponsor a dog. So when people come on a dog sled tour, they fall in love with our dogs because of the way they looked after and how friendly all our dogs are. So they want to keep that memory alive. And they've always asked us, can we sponsor a dog? Yes, we said, we're doing it. We've never done it. But now the lockdown actually forced us to set up a dog scheme. And not only can you sponsor a dog, like we've had people buying birthday presents and presents for young children, but you can go corporate as well. So we do corporate dog sledding business trips as well. And I can organise everything from pick up at the hotel to drop off, accommodation, activities, food, everything. So as part of Sponsor the Dog, you can sponsor Wild Spirit and you can sponsor a dog, and then included in that then is a dog sledding trip for your business. And you'll have your logo on our website banner. You'll have a banner on our website as well with your logo, and we send traffic to your website. So there's lots of other ideas then that we've actually been able to do with this lockdown. And obviously we needed to make money because we've got to feed the dogs, because unfortunately we can't put them away for summer. They still need to be cared for and fed. So so that's what we've been doing is looking at innovative ideas, which we will keep now because they're an extra income stream for our business. And people, it's like people can buy these sponsorships for their friends or families, and then they can book a dog and included in some of the sponsorship a dog sled trips for next winter. What we've done for this June now is that if people booked a dog sled tour ready for winter, they could have 10% off, and then July then we're going to look at some other promotions. So it's taught us to sort of kick ourselves up the backside and think of other innovative ideas to keep things going.
Yeah. Which is that's an area I work with businesses. Is innovation, really, technology and innovation. Having been a tech startup for 10 years myself and using technology, it's quite hard sometimes to get people to switch to technology when they're not quite au fait with it, or they're maybe they haven't been brought up around technology as much because the different generations or the industries they've been in, they weren't so technical. But that's what's good about the coronavirus and the lockdown situation. It's forced people who are straggling, if you like, and the rest of the world had maybe embraced technology, but there's some people who are still straggling, or their business didn't need technology, so they didn't embrace it, but actually they were forced into it, and they realized that they can still do their existing business how it is, but it's just another string to the bow. and it allows them to dual run the business, offline and online at the same time.
And also for us as well, especially for me, is that I decided a year ago that I was investing time into myself. And before I was running a busy mess, I was working a lot of hours and not really making that much money, making some progress, building up my name for myself in the business, but I was running myself ragged. But what the coronavirus has done has actually made me stop and realize I can still succeed. I can still make an income actually by relaxing a little bit more, investing some energy and time and money into myself to help myself progress and look after myself. Yeah. And I'm not, and the other thing as well, which is something, I also belong to the International Women of the World Facebook page, and they did an amazing conference last Friday. Dawn and Tracy did. It absolutely was outstanding. But what somebody said on one of the talks is to learn how to delegate, and I never did that. I would do everything, and I wasn't learning how to delegate, but now I'm learning how to delegate, and wow, have I got more time on my hands. Yes. And I'm still making the same progress in my business. So it's actually made me stop and reevaluate myself as a person, as Claire, and as a business person as well.
Yeah. It's also good to have a plan or a strategy, which not many people do. That's a good thing about sometimes buying into a franchise. You're buying into someone else's or established plan or strategy, if you like. Yeah. And I know a lot about that because I've worked a lot with Paul and Tracy and the Introbiz brand on their strategy over the years, on their social media marketing strategy, their expo, getting the big speakers in to get the delegates in, all that sort of stuff is, I've worked a lot with them on that strategy. And actually, if you have a plan and you have a strategy, and then you create actions and activities consistently to actually go out and achieve those goals, those targets in the plan and in the strategy, then you can save a lot of time. You're not in that busy mess, and you're actually strategically doing things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis.
This is one reason that we decided on the franchise as well, is because we have Paul and Tracy's backing. It's their business, and we have their backing, but it's our business, obviously, but we've got all that support. Because if you think about it, Richard and I came to Sweden 9 years ago, and we had £2,000 in our bank account. We had a few leaflets set up. We had 21 dogs, and we set up a business in a different country, didn't know the language, the tax system or anything. So we made so many mistakes along the way. Yeah. And in my mind I did not want to set up another business. I didn't want to work for anybody. I knew I wanted to have my own business, but I didn't want to set up another business from scratch. So when this franchise was announced, it was a no-brainer for me. I knew Paul and Tracy. I knew what they'd done. I knew their successes. So I knew that it was a good name. So for me then, I would have their support so that then my business would succeed alongside them.
Yeah. And for those people who do pick this up, who don't know the Introbiz Network, obviously as a member myself for 9 years, I probably should just say something a little bit about Introbiz myself, for this. And, for me, it's been fantastic, joining the Introbiz Network. I actually went looking for the best network in Wales that I could find, because I used to be a corporate sales director. So I was used to professionalism and national events and that sort of thing. And Introbiz was the first network I found. And it's the one I stayed with for 9 years. And I did actually try for a whole year, lots of other events as well, just to make sure that Introbiz was the best one. But it was, after lots of research and doing lots of events and attending all sorts of things, I sort of stopped doing lots of the other events because I was getting busy with Introbiz and I didn't need to do all those other events, and Introbiz was the best one. And the reason for me that it was the best one is at the time, it was the most professionally run, it attracted the best businesses, the best people, etc. And that's because teams and companies and organizations often take the shape of their leaders. And obviously Paul and Tracy was in the business, Paul was just joining the business at that time, but they both come from a corporate background, the same as me. They both understood professionalism and doing things right and doing things the proper way. So, you know, I'm a massive fan of the Introbiz Network. You know, I'm an ambassador and I attend all the events and everything. But that's because, again, I've come from a sales background where, for example, I used to have to do phone calls and lead generation and all that sort of stuff to get in front of people in order to be able to sell them something. But actually, Paul and Tracy take care of all of that. They actually do all the phoning, the appointments, and you guys, the franchises, are doing the same thing. They're working behind the scenes to do all that lead generation to get people to an event so that you can then do the selling. So it saves that whole front end, you know, lead generation. And a lot of people don't get that when they go networking because they've never come from that background. They don't realize how much time and money and expense and how much more efficient it is just to turn up at an event when everyone's there rather than finding other ways to get all those people there. So,
absolutely.
You know, so that's the key. That's the key that people who are not from a sales background don't understand. So a lot of big business owners, they think, well, why should I go networking? Why should I turn up consistently? Because you've got to be consistent to get a lot out of it, which is something I've understood, which is why I've been a member for such a long period of time, because I turn up, I show up, I get involved. And that's what I'm saying to the Swedish people or the European people or whoever wants to listen to this, that if you turn up, you show up, you get consistently involved and you build the relationships and you work on them, as long as you're in a good network, which is bringing the right people to you, which is what Introbiz are very good at doing, then you're actually saving lots of other cost and money and efficiencies elsewhere in the business. So to me, it's like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you turn up every week, you know, to speak to all those people that have been put on for you? You know, because there's much harder ways of actually having to go get those people. So that's why I'm so consistent and so, you know, I attend every event or whatever, because I understand the value. So that's why I thought I'd just explain that on here, because I don't know if I'm quite new to doing YouTube videos. My podcast only started in the lockdown as well. I do a lot of social media marketing and sharing and putting stuff on social media. I don't think I've ever really spoken to people and actually explained why they should join Introbiz, etc. You know, from a member who's been there, done it, and got the T-shirt, if you like. So just thought I'd stick that on the video now, you know.
Yeah, and this was something that I was looking for as well. So you know, it'd be amazing. I can put this video out now and then let everybody know in Sweden, you know, what it has actually done for you. And this is what we're looking for. And I think this is the other thing that the online stuff has done for Introbiz Sweden as well is allowing this international business networking as well.
Yes.
So that's where I can connect now with people from Introbiz, and like yourself, you can give amazing reviews of Introbiz, of how it's helped you and why you're successful in your business, and then that would pass on to people in Sweden and maybe other Scandinavia countries as well. You never know, do you? No. So it's amazing that you said that. Thank you.
Yeah, and not only, you know, a lot of people, again, they go networking looking for customers, but I don't. I go there to make friends and to build relationships. Yeah. And then, you know, custom will come from that. Once people know what you do anyway, once they need it or they know someone who's thinking of it, they'll recommend you. So I go there just to mix with peers, to learn something, you know, to learn what's going on in the business world, or to learn from masterclass people or other entrepreneurs. And so you can learn a lot of stuff as well. So, you know, it's not just about getting customers. And then once you build great relationships, when people know what you do, they'll get in touch with you anyway. But I always think as well, the key people that I always look for at network events are actually lead referral partners. So people who are chasing the same sort of people as you, so you can send leads to each other. Plus also partners, you know, I do quite a lot of joint ventures, or, you know, if you're entrepreneurial and you opportunist, etc., sometimes two heads joining together, all of a sudden you come up with a new idea or a new venture between you, and it's, you know, so I've grown so many different businesses and ideas and strategies from all the things I've learned, you know, at Introbiz and with Introbiz members, and and all sorts. And that's the thing is with Introbiz, it is like a family, you know what I mean? And you build great friendships, great associations, great family members, great partners, business-wise partners. I haven't found a partner the other time, but I'm sure some people have. In fact, I definitely know some people have, especially at Beaujolais days and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just a fantastic organisation. So well done for joining.
I think the key word here as well, Mike, with everything that you've just said, is trust. Because there's a lot of trust in there. Once you build those relationships, you build the trust. Because, for example, there's a couple of people that I know, and I'm not going to say names or anything because some of their business they want to be kept private. But they asked me for some information, and I passed them on to some Introbiz members, and I said, because these are people that you can actually trust. Now, if I pass them on to somebody else, I don't know their background. They we haven't seen them sort of face to face in. And the people that I'm trying to say it, so I don't have to say names or exactly what's gone on, but because I don't think they'd appreciate me saying. But it's like I wasn't looking for this type of person, and then somebody else asked me a question. I'm like, oh well, I know that person. They're an Introbiz member, and I trust them. Speak to them, and they will give you good advice, and that's based on trust. And I've been able to refer a few people to Introbiz UK as well, just through that trust and networking, and just having these people in my head. And I said, I know who can help you, and also vice versa. I've had through the network, I've had loads of people contacting me, and speaking with me, and passing on UK people and Swedish people, so we can all connect. So it's been an amazing journey this last few months.
Yeah, great. And also tell us a little bit about the virtual dog sledding as well. You didn't mention that when you were talking about.
Oh no, well well, after we done the online the practice one with you, the weather just changed completely. So we couldn't do it anymore. Okay. But you never know. Maybe next year we'll look at doing it. Because I noticed some other countries were doing it, but there's a few tweaks that we needed to make. But I think you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
It went on a long time, and I tell you, the reason I went on a long time was Ellie, who was working with us, her mother was on, and she's never seen Ellie do it before, so I kept it on extra time for her mother. So, I think 30 minutes, 45 minutes is enough. I think we went on for about an hour and a half, didn't we? But it was good, and it's good to just have a whistle-stop tour for people to understand what dog sledding is all about, because a lot of people who come on our tours don't really understand exactly what it's all about. And for me, it's that you can't explain, no pictures, no videos will ever explain how amazing dog sledding is with these animals that actually want to pull and want to work, and the scenery is just outstanding. No amount of pictures will ever give it justice. It's about being here and getting involved with it. So and everybody, well, I'd say 90% of people, you always have the minority of people, they just, the dog sledding just blows them away. And we are very, with our dogs as well, when you come and meet our dogs, it's not a fairground ride. We don't like those. I don't like those. It's, you come in, you meet the dogs, you see the dogs, you get to interact with the dogs as well, which is quite special.
Yeah, so it's like a life experience, isn't it?
It's an experience. It is an experience.
Yeah. It's one of those life experiences that I think adventurers, people who've got a bit of spirit in them, a bit of wild spirit, are definitely one of those. It's one of those bucket list things, isn't it? Something to tick off to say, I think going to Scandinavia, you know, whichever of the countries is part of the bucket list as well for a lot of Brits, I think. Although, like a lot of Brits also love to chase the sun, you know, and I'm definitely one of those myself. But I've actually been to Sweden myself, and I probably will be coming again soon. But it's definitely one of those things which I think a lot of people with a bit of wild spirit think, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. But I think the virtual experience as well is great for people who can't get there, and you know, through cost or through you know, maybe disability access or whatever, they may not feel comfortable. And I think it does lend itself to great virtual experience. You know, I enjoyed it. I think it would work well as well, maybe in like a virtual reality headset or something as an experience. I think it'd work well.
Well, that has been mentioned here. We're always throwing around ideas every Sunday. It's only 3-4 of us at the moment, you know, here. So it's me, Richard's son, and Ellie. But every Sunday we all sit together and we have our ideas. We still have a staff meeting every Sunday.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So those type of ideas being thrown around.
Yeah, it's great to keep doing that, you know, because even if you all know each other and you think, you know, we've got this mastered, you know, at the end of the day, you might have a couple of weeks and then nothing comes out of that meeting, but then all of a sudden an amazing idea comes out of it, and it gives you another pivot, like, you know, or another direction to go in.
Yeah. So, even with a little team like we have, you know, still people can just go off and do their own thing, and then, you know, nobody knows what anybody's doing, and then all of a sudden, you know, maybe that's the control freak in me. I like to be in control. I like to know what everybody's doing.
It's the project manager in you, isn't it? You know, managing the project, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to know everything. But otherwise I can't rest.
It is key, you know, to make sure that you're still sticking to the strategy, you're sticking to the plan, everyone's on point, you know, etc. So, all right, brilliant. And outside of the dog sledding and the business and growing that, which obviously probably don't leave you a lot of time, but what else do you like doing when you can get a bit of a chance to do it?
Well, this winter I started to take up skiing. Believe it or not, you know, we actually live 30 minutes from the biggest ski resort in Europe, and in Sweden, sorry, and I think it's the second best. I don't know the statistics, but it's an amazing ski resort, and I haven't done hardly any skiing, so this winter I started a little bit of skiing, and you know, after winter, you know, you do your spring clean. Well, our spring clean is huge, so that's what we're just finishing that right now, and then we normally plan on a holiday to come back to the UK because Richard has a daughter in the UK.
Yeah.
But I can't see that happening at the moment because there's no flights, and so maybe we'll plan a little recharge of the batteries, Richard and I. Maybe we'll go on holidays in Sweden, which we have never done. We've never done, so I think that would be an amazing thing.
Yeah, so a staycation in Sweden.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of staycationing going on this year in the UK as well, because of the quarantine rules and that, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we don't. To be honest, I think you know, now I'm investing a bit more time into myself, then I'll be investing more time into myself socially as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you gotta.
If we don't get locked down.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer in work hard, play hard. Is what keeps you being able to work hard. So to me, it's an important part of business strategy. Like, you know, it's part of my strategy is to play hard, to keep the fire burning, so that you can keep working hard. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think Richard and I have been sort of we've just worked and worked, you know, and so it's now our time now to play hard, I think.
Yeah, good. All right then. Well, you mentioned obviously, I think you mentioned the expo. You mentioned some of the events, and obviously you mentioned the business as well. Just let people know how they can get in touch with Introbiz Sweden. You know, the web addresses and stuff, and how they can get in touch with the Wild Spirits as well.
No problem. The other thing as well is that I am going to be involved in co-authoring a book, Inspirational Women of the World book, as well, with another 20 women entrepreneurs. So that's going to be that's coming up soon as well. But to get in contact with me, it's my Introbiz Sweden website is www.introbizsweden.se.
Yeah.
And all my contact details are on there.
And they can sign up for a newsletter as well, can't they, to get updated of all the events?
Yeah. You can sign up for a newsletter, and then you'll have all the information. At the beginning of every month, then we send out a newsletter of what's coming up in Introbiz Sweden. And also it's the same with Wild Spirit. It's www.wildspirit.se. You can sign up for a newsletter there, and then at the beginning of every month, we send out all the information of what's going on in Wild Spirit as well.
Okay, brilliant.
And then the other thing, if it is people from the UK that are going to contact me, it's better to do it on WhatsApp.
Yes, on WhatsApp. Or are you on Messenger as well, Facebook, if they connect with you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Messenger, and I'm on WhatsApp and email.
Yeah. I use a lot of WhatsApp and Messenger at the moment because where I am in the Welsh Valleys, the signal's not very good on the phone. So I'm always on Messenger and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do a lot of networking with Ireland as well.
It's just the international calls, isn't it? That you just want to keep those costs down during this time. We don't want to be spending money we don't need to.
No point making international calls when it costs you whatever per minute when you can just do it for free on WhatsApp or Messenger.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, brilliant. All right then. Well, thanks a lot for coming on to the podcast and the YouTube channel.
Thank you for inviting me, Mike. You take care. Have a lovely day.
No problem. Brilliant. And there's nothing else left for me to say now other than have a great day. I know I will. And thanks very much for listening. Cheers, Claire. All the best. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.